You are now listening to the new Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time at BringDownTheBand.com, and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, and Sun King Brewery. Support the new Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the new Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. I make beats when my computer works. When it doesn't work, I'm resorting to resetting it and continuing to try to get it to work. In the chat, Bunker Edition, my man, Longevity, how are you, sir?
Ooh, we have an issue.
What
doing
happened?
all right? How you doing, man?
Okay. I'm good, man. I don't know what happened with there he is. Okay.
Sometimes you just got to do this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, y'all stunned. That's all right. It's cool. Don't even worry about it. I feel you. Technology. I like it. Down there adjusting the screen, my man DJ Jay Diff. What's happening?
Salutations, my friend.
How's everything with you, brother?
Everything's good, man. I can't complain.
Good. I can dig it. Good to see you as always.
Chilling like everybody else.
No, not like everybody else. Trust me. I'm gonna tell y'all a story once we get started.
I like
and
stories.
rounding out the squad. I guess he's stunting with his new background. Kansas City Mac, voice of Indianapolis, my man Jay Moore. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. We're just living quarantine life, baby. That's what it is.
I see. You got that wisdom in your beard. I see you out here.
Well, I can't go to the barbershop and get my lineup.
I feel you.
My Dominican gentleman on. You know what it is.
I got
Hey,
you.
shout out to all my homies that's using Beijing. I know it's rough. You can't get your hairline straight and your beard filled in, so more power to you.
Hey, man, I'm going to leave that alone.
Right.
Hey, knock it off, man. Knock it off. But the story I was going to
shout out. We got to shout out all the people who got two families. I know you're struggling right now because you're trying to figure out how to support both families on both sides of town right now. Hopefully this $12 will help if you're not in the rears on that child support. So shout out to everybody.
That's tough.
And this is when they can really shine, though, to make sure that both families got groceries in the refrigerator at least.
Yeah, you were really being tested as a man. If
you come through right now, you that guy. If you can come through right now,
it's getting to the point where people are gonna have to start telling the truth.
They're gonna have to start telling the truth. You're right. I saw in my neighborhood, probably about 8 or 9 cars across the street and a grill in the backyard flaming. I was like, okay, maybe there's no maybe because I know what it is, but I'm looking like this can't be real life. So the cars were there. I see 3 or 4 people on the porch, kids running around in the front yard. Probably 4 or 5 more people inside. Somebody on the grill, the music, they jamming, and I'm just like.
Was this Easter?
This was it was Easter. Yep. It was cracking, and I was just like, okay, just another set of people that still don't get it. I didn't think I would see it and be able to watch it happen, but it's still people out here that's just out here getting it like it's like everything is normal.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna stop, man.
Huh?
It's not gonna stop.
No, it's gonna get worse as the weather gets better, I think. And
the longer it happens, longer it goes on, it's gonna normalize.
Where are you guys at with the concept of once everything quote unquote opens back up? Like, I think there's gonna be a huge section of people that are just gonna rush out and think everything is 100% back to normal. And then there's going to be a small group of people that are going to be like, all right, so the lift is up, but I'm still cautious.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be kind of cautious, but
you think so?
Yeah, Nick and I have talked about this at Decademics too. Like, even when they open, let's say they open stuff up next month, to where we can take classes, like, people are still going to be tentative whether they want to come in and like take classes and whatnot. And still precautions are going to be out there. I think it's going to be weird, man. I think it's going to be kind of different for a while. I think we're going to be in between this balance of Probably for another 2 years or so.
It's hard for me to say, with everything that's going on, and they just say, okay, say the middle of June, they're like, okay, everybody can go to baseball games again. I'm like,
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I'm not going to want to, I don't see that happening. I don't see them like even opening up, like, say, movie theater. Like, and as someone who gets a large portion of their money based on audiences, like, this is gonna, like, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to go back to what my life was as normal, because there might be places that I work that don't get to come back unless there's some sort of bailout for venues. But if it winds up being through the end of June, I've heard even some people say July, like, there's not really any business that can go for 3 months without any revenue and stay open. It's just, unless they're going to do something specifically in relief of those places, there's going to be places that open up. I talked about this with a friend of mine, who works in a bank, and they're basically like, look, there's certain businesses where the whole concept of us going to the movies, that might be something that we talk about. Hey, remember when we used to go to the movies? Places like GameStop, places
the drive-through movie will probably make a resurgence.
Perhaps
it would have to.
But now, you don't even have to be like, it used to be a flat screen HD 4K TV. That was a luxury item. Like, you can get a nice TV, 65, 70 inches for $300-400 now, and you got fast internet. You can watch 4K content on demand. Like, some people, like, it's already happening to where, like, there are first run movies, like movies that would have been in the movie theater, that, a one-time viewing, and they've been mostly family movies, like, have been $20. But think about that. If you can get your kids, maybe a couple of the neighbors' kids, $20, that's a lot less money than you spent if you went out to a movie, bought 4 or 5 tickets, popcorn and candy, and a few sodas. So, like, there's going to be a new normal when it comes to how entertainment is distributed. I think a store like GameStop, I think we're all familiar with the store GameStop. GameStop isn't going to come back as we know it.
Well, GameStop been raping people for years anyway, so I don't even think people care about GameStop at this point. But
I don't know, man. I think it's some people that still check in with them.
They rock with GameStop because it's the video game store, but all the same video games you can get at any other store, though.
Yeah, people don't frequent GameStop like 10 years ago or anything like that.
Its way out before all this happened. Sears, places like JCPenney, like, those are stores that were barely hanging on. This has just been the death blow for them. And so
this is a wrap for a lot of businesses, most likely.
Definitely. I think what's ill about it too, because, like, I don't think it'll go back to normal either. I think it's gonna be a what about Bob? Everybody's taking baby steps. But what's weird is, so if everything's supposed to get back to normal summertime or June, July, flu season starts in like October, November. Like, if this virus doesn't go away and it's something that's continuous until they get a grasp on it, then we might have 3-4 months pretty much of freedom and then back to bullshit.
Well, I mean, we're still, I mean, they said even early on that the projected earliest date that they would be able to create and distribute a vaccine was like 18 months.
Right.
So regardless of if it cleans up or gets a little bit better for a little while, there's still, we don't know when it's going to come back. Like, there's no precedence for it, whatever that word is.
Just like there is regular influenza season. Like, we're looking at a potential to where we're going to, every year, every couple of years, oh yeah, it's Corona season. Like, something that people just think is going to eventually go away. We're going to get a handle on it. It's not like that. That's not how this works. That'd be like, oh yeah, when the cold first hit, you're like, oh yeah, that cold thing. Remember when that used to happen? No, this is going to be a thing that, it's not like bird flu or Ebola. Like, first of all, we let it get way out of hand too quickly. So it's just a part of the ecosystem of germs that we're probably going to have to live with for the rest of our lives. which is unfortunate. But like, I think they keep telling us like another 30 days and 15 days here, because if they told the American people that, you know what, y'all gonna be locked down until July 30th, like they have to put the National Guard in front of grocery stores.
Yeah,
I mean, Trump is out there pretty much stating the same shit. He want to try to open it up, and pretty much he's coming across as he's the ruler of this land called the United States of America. And the governors and mayors are saying, no, you don't get to make that decision. Like, you don't even realize what your job description is. You can suggest something, but we don't have to do what you say, because you're not the king. That's the whole reason that we don't have that type of setup here.
Monarchy.
His mind state is that of a dictator, though. It's like he really believes in his mind everything that he says it can happen, and it's supposed to happen because he said it. Like, he really think that.
he thinks we're at war.
Right.
He thinks we're fighting the invisible war right now. He's literally said that on Twitter. You know, he's like, yeah, our casualties went down. Like, what are you talking?
He also said that if we stop the testing of coronavirus, then the numbers don't go up.
Yeah, that's how it works.
You mean like China? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've never like it's crazy that the president of the United States is this incompetent at one of the worst times to possibly be such an idiot. Like, I can't believe. Like,
you can believe it. You can believe it.
I cannot believe it. I can't believe it. Can I should just believe it, shouldn't I?
It's just it's not even him. I believe everything he's doing because he is an idiot. But it's the people that still vouch for him that find weird ways to still say, oh well, it's not his fault. Like, there's no end to it. It just, oh well, no other president, you know, nobody else would have been able to do anything to this and stuff. It's like those conversations.
They still
kind of lose me. It's just like, all right, I can't have a conversation with you. So
yeah, he's just trying to. Him and his followers are trying to Christopher Columbus this whole thing.
Facts.
Just history. That's all it is. But I mean, there's a timeline full of what exactly he did. So there's no way you can erase that shit. It doesn't matter how many times you get on TV and say you did this and didn't do that, and now his new enemy is Dr. Fauci or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He don't do well with science, man.
He was in his feelings about something he said. I'm just like,
he struggles with science.
Well, there was a whole
like, I'm like, why are you fighting him though? Like, I don't understand. Like,
because he's science.
It's just because he represents
he's fighting him because he said pretty much that Trump needs to take some of the blame for how things are going right now. But they're trying to they're using what the doctor said about he didn't think. Well, the quote is saying that he doesn't think we should lock down, but they're just taking that blip because the next sentence he said, but it could turn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to quote somebody, you got to quote the whole thing, and you got to stand on the timeline. It was still an issue of being cautious and this not being a hoax. You silly.
But you know, he said, this is the thing. He said, like, and I don't think he gets some of the things he says, things that you should brag about. Like he said in one of his tweets, I'm reading it verbatim. This doesn't come off as fake news.
Can you yell a little louder?
For the first time in history, there is a fully signed presidential disaster declaration for all 50 states. That's not a good thing.
Right.
Like, you know, like we are winning and we'll win the war on the invisible. And it's like, and part of this is what happens when someone's first job in public service is president of the United States of America.
Man, that's a bar right there.
And that's something
that's it right there.
I mean, plenty of people who said, but not even is your first government job, but your first job as a public servant. And there's no problem, like, you know, like everyone is not built for the non-for-profit
Cuban links
life. Not for Cuban links, certainly. But this is what it is when you have spent your entire life serving yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you are a business person and an entrepreneur, and I'm not casting aspersions on people who have served themselves and been a part of the for-profit life. Everybody's not built for that. But when your first job is president of the United States, like he doesn't, like I honestly don't. People say, you know, he's not versed on these things. He doesn't know these things are not wrong
at all.
No, he definitely doesn't know it.
Yeah, he's surrounded.
He even says it in so many words. You know what I'm saying? Like even when he was like when they were talking about the virus, and he was trying to give himself props for knowing what a virus is. You know, so I'm like, okay. And people don't think I'm supposed to know this, but I know this. Anyway, fuck Donnie. Let's talk about some other shit.
All right, man. So speaking of Lone was the one that said Cuban Link. Everybody saw the Premo battle. We actually streamed it. Lone set up a stream on Bringing Down the Band, so shout out to Lone. It was on Twitch. I was in there. We chopped it up a little bit. So we're trying to work on some things, some new avenues for content. So y'all stay tuned for that. It was fun in the chat room. I cannot remember who was in there besides us, but a couple of the people were in there. Interactive. So
there were like 16 or 17 people in there randomly. I don't know who any of them were, except for the Jersey dude. He was.
Yeah, it was dope though. They were
Jersey 83, 83, 83, or whoever that was. But.
Yeah, that's who was interacting. He was definitely going back and forth with us. So shout out to him. But yeah, man, that Premo versus RZA lived up to everything I thought it would be. I think it's been the best one in terms of the versus series, just for, you know, two legends.
I think it was rap one, definitely.
Say what now?
It's definitely the best rap one.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, once we go around, you can, if you think there was one that was better that I might have missed, by all means, I'm with you there. But overall, man, I was very pleased with it. And what made me excited was the conversations in between the songs. Like sometimes they talk about who was in the studio a certain day and how this came about. And, you know, to see two legends give each other peace like that while playing like banger after banger after banger. Like it was just dope, man. And seeing RZA's kids hop in there behind him a little bit. I think it was on
was at the end.
Plan They Never Fuck With, I think was a joint. I loved it, man. And Jay Diff also shared a link before we got started about how Premo initially was only going to do it if it was Drake. And then Swiss tried to pair him up with Pete Rock. And he's like, nah, we already do that on tour. And he's like, well, what about RZA? And then, you know, Premo was like, I'll go with him because I think he'll have a strong 20 that I know will go back and forth, and it'll put him under pressure to come for me. So he knew, you know, Bobby was going to be locked and loaded. So overall, I thought the shit was dope. Jay Diff, what did you think about it overall, man? What were your takeaways from it?
I thought it was solid, man, and it was like you said, it was cool hearing stories about how these songs came together. It was almost like a history lesson. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of took me personally back in time to when these songs actually came out. And I mean, honestly, I know people were picking sides or whatnot, saying this person's better, this person is better. And like the scores, some of the scorecards I seen were way weighted to the left or way weighted to the right. I don't see how you can truthfully be a fan of this particular style of hip hop, because hip hop has evolved, of course, and have your scale weighted that much for one individual.
I agree.
Because literally listening to this battle, it was, to me, I mean, it was back and forth. It was like 3 and 4 rounds where I couldn't even pick a solid winner. You know what I'm saying?
I actually heard that RZA was gonna get washed. Like I laughed so hard when people said that.
I don't see how anybody can say it on either end though, because I mean it was people saying that he was gonna get washed. It was people saying that Premier was gonna get washed. I don't see how anybody could say that on any end. And then sit there and literally listen to them go back and forth and have your scorecard weighted as like 13 to 7. You know what I'm saying? There's no way.
I think it absolutely could if RZA started playing stuff after 2000. Like if he played more of what would go say the lights in the club just came on when he played something from. He said the lights in the club.
He got more sense than that though. I would hope.
But if he
RZA left stuff on the table though. He had like 4 joints I could come off top that he didn't play. Go ahead.
But you're not listening to me though. I'm saying post 2000. Like
I know what you mean. Yeah.
If he tried to play some of those joints against any of the joints Premier made post 2000, outside of the 2 that he made, that he did play, like
then he might have got washed.
It would have been, you know, like because he obviously thinks those joints are tough too. So I mean,
Premo did play that Christina Aguilera joint.
Because RZA played something else, but
RZA played Gravel Pit when he played the Christina Aguilera joint.
Somebody said
I cringed when I heard Gravel Pit. I ain't gonna front.
Somebody I forget who was in the comments that said turn that shit off or something like that. I don't know what they said. It wasn't
real when he went 21 through 25. It got comments.
Yeah,
like, really, he started out hot.
He did the first 3.
Yeah, 21 through 23 was hot.
And then he played like the Better Tomorrow joints and some.
See, those is where I was just like, all right,
the newer stuff, and it's like, okay.
He was bonging.
He was. He said, "Zomp, zomp,
zomp, zomp."
Well,
you guys are gonna score it. I had it 12-8 RZA.
I think RZA won. I think RZA won.
I didn't have it that off. I had RZA really shined to me in overtime because he was smacking him in overtime.
He still didn't play a lot of joints too, which is crazy.
He still didn't play a lot of joints, but I actually had it. I had them more kind of neck and neck a little bit, but I had RZA winning overall.
But see, when you think about it though, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, he didn't play shadow boxing. He didn't play Winter Wars.
He didn't play
Cream. Didn't play Daytona 500, and he didn't play Fourth Chamber. Like those would have been.
Premo didn't play some shit either. Premo didn't play Royalty.
I feel you, but that's what I'm saying though.
Full clip.
It could have got ugly even if they would have kept going because I was waiting on shadow boxing. I'm like, Premo has to go all the way down in his bag if he drops shadow boxing. He has to go in his bag. Like, that's how cold shadow boxing is to me.
You know what, though? It was crazy because when he played Verbal Intercourse, I was like, RZA's got this one. And then he played Nas's like.
I know.
And it was like, yo, shit.
Yeah, like when he played, I think they went Biggie for Biggie. I think RZA did Long Kiss, and then he came back with Unbelievable or something like that.
Yeah.
Nah, he played Long Kiss. No, he played
Did he play Kicking the Door?
Or was it Kicking the Door?
He
was
it Kicking the Door on one of them rounds.
Biggie for Biggie though.
He didn't play the walk, did he?
Let me see
I
if I can find it.
Down. I didn't bring my notes with me.
Let me pull up my notes.
All right, I got them. I think so. It says, let's see, Raekwon, Wu Gambinos. Let's see, Run.
Who played? The Run one? He was solid. No, what was the one he did with Long Kiss?
So Long Kiss was where's Long Kiss? Above the Clouds. That's what it was.
That was tough. That was tough for me.
Above the Clouds. So when he did it, that was the one I'm talking about. This one was a tough one for me. It was Ice Cream and Unbelievable, Biggie. That's the one I was talking about. That's tough. And I think I give the nod to Ice Cream, but I was cringing on that one because I was like, man, this could go either way. Like that damn near could have been a tie.
Ice Cream.
Want to keep it above. Huh? What'd you say, Jim Moore?
I love Unbelievable, but I gave it to Ice Cream.
Yeah, my gut is telling me Ice Cream, but it's close.
I'm about to go grab my notes real quick. Shout out to Spoolz.
Plus, I didn't award any ties. I did take a point away from RZA for playing Brooklyn Zoo because he didn't use that. He automatically.
But you know what though? He could have been under the Scott Storch rule. RZA probably co-produced somewhere and was like, all right.
He did with that Kanye joint that he played. That joint.
Somewhere in the production credits, I'd have been like, all right. But his name it was, I think, True Master, and the co-production is given to Old Dirty Bastard. His name's not in the production credit for that at all.
Mm.
I feel
Well,
you. I feel you.
I was telling Terry this when we were watching it, I believe live, but while I was listening to it, now let me just say something to start with. Like, RZA was my favorite producer for a very long time. So
Mine
like,
as well.
so like 90s RZA to me 90s producer is the GOAT is RZA to me. No, I still can appreciate what everybody else has done, but he just killed that era. But what I noticed with this was how much more RZA was actually producing as opposed to like looping.
Yeah.
And so like when you listen to Premo stuff, it was almost like it was a chop and it just kind of looped and he had some cuts on it, right? But the songs were really great. But the RZA joints were like chops and there were change ups, and then you would hear him like play some instruments on top of it too. And when you like factor in all those things like that, like the production value of what RZA was doing was, to me, it was a lot higher than Premo's. But the songs, Premo's songs, that's where the balance went on the other side.
I will say this though, you know, with RZA for the musicianship, that's one of the things I've always liked about him. You and I, we've had this conversation. But with Premo, man, when I heard stuff like when he played Above the Clouds, you know what I'm saying? Like when he played that, it's like, yo, when you really think about how he chopped that up, like there are some great chops on a lot of those Premo joints too.
They're great chops.
You know what I'm saying?
They're great loops, but like that's where it stops. Like you know what I mean? Like as far as the production is concerned, but that's not taking anything away from what he's doing, because what he's doing is amazing. And
yeah, I follow you.
but when I'm talking about it comparatively to what RZA was doing that, and then also adding additional changes in the beat, and also playing instruments on it. You know, like that's the difference. So like when we were sitting there like watching, I was like, man, like I found myself like choosing, like, am I picking the beat or am I picking the song? Because if I'm picking the beat, I'm picking RZA a lot. But if I'm picking the song, Premo came back and was on top most of the time.
To your point, those cuts, like when the cuts come in on the Premo records to help shape and mold the song or however the hook is built around it, that's what just takes it just through the roof, man. Like it just takes it through the roof. I agree with you on that.
And plus, Premo has worked with a lot of different artists. RZA's was pretty much all Wu-Tang, you know, so it's like one style. Yeah, but it was all Wu-Tang sound, you know what I mean? Like Premo's was a little bit more, it varied a little bit based on the artist.
Premo had J, M.O.P., Mos Def, Big L, KRS-One, Das Effects, Group Home, D'Angelo,
Christina Aguilera,
Big, J. Rue the Damager. Like
he didn't have to play the Christina one. Oh wait, was Christina? Was that Premiere or was that? Yeah, that was Premiere.
That was Premiere. Yeah.
Now, what killed me though is when round 8 when RZA played Cold World, and you're like, this a hit right here. And then Premiere followed that mug with Devil's Pie.
Man, that was tough. That was tough.
Damn,
I give it a Devil's Pie on that one. Yeah.
But if you go back and listen to it though, and you listen to just the beats on those two together, Devil's Pie is just a loop.
It is. But
it's really simple. Like D'Angelo made that beat, that spectacular. So
see, like there was some to me though that were no-brainers. Like I fucking love Assassination Day.
Yeah.
But when he played New York State of Mind, I was like,
yeah, that was rap.
Like it's a rap. Like there's nothing I can do. And me being in this situation, pro RZA, I just had to tip my cap and be like, yep, it's over for that. And Assassination Day is cold.
That was with me with Above the Clouds and Long Kiss Goodnight. Long Kiss Goodnight has got a whole bunch of stuff going on in it. That's really cool. But Above the Clouds is just such a cold joint. Like,
and then Deck's verse is so cold. Like setting it off on top of that, it's like that's just hard to get around,
like,
man.
And the type of sample that he used for it, it's just like it sounds like it's Above the Clouds. You know, like it just, I don't know.
Wait, Jay Moore, what'd you say your score was?
I had a 12-8.
12-8.
And that's
Terry,
what
you had yours written down. What did you? I didn't
Hold
score
on,
it. I just kind of watched it.
I just got the names written there. Hold on.
Because I
didn't
just
keep
kind of
tally.
watched it. Yeah, I was just hyped watching it. That got to the point where I ain't really care no more.
see. This is the thing with this because I love. See, there's not a song on here I don't like, and so
Right.
Like if I could have been in a different headspace and you know maybe if they'd have played them instead of 1 to 20, played them 20 to 1 in backwards order.
Yeah.
I might have scored it differently. That's how close a lot of these were. Because like I said, I didn't award any ties. The only time I gave it automatically to Premier is when they played RZA played Brooklyn 2.
I actually had it 9-8 with 3 rounds tied up, and the 9 was the RZA.
Okay.
So 9-8, Premo 8, RZA 9, and then OT, RZA had 21 through 23.
Yeah.
In OT.
But it was just great overall, though. Like, even though we're sitting here like breaking it down, like everything was amazing. Like it was definitely like a time that will be remembered.
I will say this though. If I had to say which songs would probably go better in a club setting where there aren't like hip hop heads necessarily there, Premo's gonna win that battle.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if it's just a bunch of woo shit is, I mean, it's one of the elements of hip hop generally right now, you know what I'm saying? But if you're in a setting to where everybody don't mess with hip hop like that, Preem is gonna win.
He's got a lot more joints that I don't want to use crossover, but you know what I mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're more.
He just works with more artists.
More mass appealing. Yeah. No pun intended.
But to Lone's point too, it's the artist that he's working with also. That helps because to your point, everybody's not gonna want to hear, you know, Brooklyn Zoo. You know what I'm saying? Like
nobody's gonna want to hear Brooklyn Zoo in a club setting,
right?
Unless it's at Coach's on a Tuesday night.
But you can get away. You can get away at certain places with shit like royalty. Like royalty,
you can play that anywhere.
Right. I think royalty is. I mean, it's just a great song, man.
I mean, it's featuring Jodeci. Well,
there it is. That's Salone's point about the artists, though. Like the different artists. Like,
and what's crazy
drives it home
when that song. Like I remember seeing when it said Gangstar with Casey and JoJo. Like now, mind you, I hadn't heard the song yet, and on paper you're like, no, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember this was leading up to when Moment of Truth was coming out, and that was part of the rollout. Because the first single was You Know My Steez, and I was like, okay, here we go. And then when I see, they got a single with Casey and JoJo, I was like, but then like that's how, I mean, Dope of a Producer where like that worked. It worked really well.
Very well.
Yeah, that's one of the coldest songs, honestly.
It definitely encompassed that sound. Like when I hear that, I actually think about being in high school and like going to like places like this is back when like the Tender Armory and the Marat used to have parties during the classic. And like that song kind of gives me that feel, that energy from being at those parties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the beat for royalty is chopped all over the place. If you listen to the instrumental.
Oh yeah, that's one of the joints that Ninth broke down when he went live like a week ago.
Yeah,
he played the original version where Preem got that beat, and like you couldn't even really hear it at first.
Yeah, he chopped the hell out that.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
when he chopped that, that was solid.
He chopped the hell out that. Yeah, no doubt about it. That was Moment of Truth, by the way, track 4, I believe. That was the album. I think you said Full Clip. Jay
it was on Full Clip,
but it's Moment of Truth though. Moment of Truth. So, Yeah, man. Shout out to RZA and Cream, man. Just overall for the culture, man, showing out. And, you know, it's dope to see mutual respect from those brothers as well, because they was giving each other P's and they could remember when it came out and all that. So overall, just a good vibe, man. Like, I stopped even worrying about the score at some point. I was just enjoying the moment, man. So
this is the first time where they did the Verzuz too, where it did not cut off. Like, it went all the way through.
they might have it might be some paper. Some paper might have been put up somewhere. I don't know.
They must have hollered at a dude from Instagram to tell him to lay low, or like you say, back off. What you be saying, Mike?
I don't
knock it off, man.
All I know is because Diddy did that dance challenger thing on Easter, and like I remember that didn't get cut off at any time. It just went straight through.
Jay Moore,
he was in talks with dude. He had a little post where he was talking to the owner of Instagram, talking about
he was FaceTiming. Yeah, he was FaceTiming.
You know what's crazy? The guy who like who basically is runs Instagram, basically the dude who came up with the whole concept. I was like, well, maybe this is somebody I need to follow too. You never know. I think he has something like maybe 50,000 followers. Here's the dude who created the platform, and he has less followers than just some of these girls that show ass. I'm like, man.
He's probably not very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't take like really, awesome pictures, and he doesn't have the content there. But like, it's just crazy.
I'm sure that young man financially though is doing pretty well.
He doesn't need an OnlyFans account, so he's doing.
Nah, he don't. He definitely ain't into no busting anything on.
Hey, if any of our listeners are into OnlyFans right now,
talk to them.
The slores are busting it wide open for you for 50% off.
Yes, sir.
You can catch you a quarantine sale and go ahead and pay your admission and get your 30 days.
If you pay attention, you might get you 3 or 4 days for free.
Oh, now, yeah.
If you pay attention.
Trust me, I know there's some out there hooking up 5 days for free. You just got to catch them at the right time.
He said a whole work week of freedom, huh?
Yeah, a whole work week of freedom. So just be careful.
I got a couple days left.
Be careful out there. Be careful out there with your credit card out here in these streets. But yeah, go ahead and get you 5 quick.
I was able to get a 5-day subscription with no credit card required.
Hey, look at that! Look at God. If anybody else is looking for some entertainment, you can follow Boosie on Instagram.
Oh man,
he'll have him doing some ignorant shit. You can follow what's his name?
Tory Lanez. Tory the one showing out. Tory Lanez radio.
Got him on there. Got him on there doing some shit too. He actually got.
Empire.
Oh wow!
Was that Nick?
Yeah, all in the videos, dancing.
He was back there with the stormtroopers.
Boy.
I see. Hey, let's shout out real quick. Let's take care of the partners real quick while we got a second. Shout out to Sun King Brewery. They are our newest partner. We appreciate everything they've done for us thus far. We look forward to more stuff from them. They actually laced the set, but we're not on set, so you can't see it. But shout out to them. I see that long. Shout out to Premo as well. That is Jay Diff's company. He's doing his thing with that. Indie and Vinyl, we really appreciate them. They are located in Broad Ripple. They take care of us for all of our wax giveaways.
They are shipping products. So.
Oh, they are? Okay, that's what's up.
And they will be your product.
Shout out to Dr. Coleman at Coleman Dental, located in Broad Ripple as well. As we always say, get your teeth is right. No Bad Ideas. It's that's our longest partnership. They laced us from day one. Usually, again, you can see the hats. I got a hat on.
That man Coleman Dental equally as long.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shout out to Dr. Coleman. Yes, they've been on as well, equally as long. Thank you, Long. And bringing down the band is all. Oh, I see you. Product placement. I see you. And as always, bringing down the band is the hub for everything New Old Heads. Make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe, and the bell for notifications. Thank you, sir, for all things New Old Heads. Again, subscribe, and we like the comments also. Tell us what you think.
Follow us on Twitch.
Wrong about. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us. We appreciate all the support. Let's see. We still got a little time. Did you guys see the screenshot I posted about Waka and 𝐀𝐄𝐃? The one about
I seen the conversation.
Yeah, Waka basically posted that Atlanta been running rap longer than any coast. And Kslayy pretty much, and it was just respectful on some OG, young person shit, like no disrespect. But Kslayy gave him some history saying hip hop started on August 11th, 1973. And he said, if you wanted to say 2005 was the time that the South started really taking off and running things, that's still 32 years. 2005 to 2020 is only 15 for the South. Waka replied and said, nah, OG, you forgetting about Miami, the Midwest, the West Coast, Houston, VA. They all held it down during that span from 1973. It wasn't just the East Coast. So where are you guys at with that?
That's subjectable on that because, I mean, if you want to be honest and you want to be 100%, you want to keep it a buck with yourself.
Yep.
Even when you started, like, say the first rap song you ever heard, and this is talking to us because, I mean, we've probably been around for most of the time hip-hop's been around, so we're the new old heads.
Right.
The first hip-hop song I heard was from someone from the East Coast. I mean, I don't know exactly which song. It could have been Sugar Hill Gang, Rappers Light. It could have been Soul Sonic Force. It could have been a Houdini song. These are the first hip hop songs I ever heard. You know what I'm saying? So I can't G for saying that just because somebody raps in Miami or in even Atlanta then or any other place for that matter, even LA, would hold that title of being the first fundamentalist in this game called hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I just can't G for that. Now,
so are you siding with the 32 years claim from Kslayy saying that that's legit?
I don't think that's legit.
I will say it's legit, but at the same time, Waka Flocka initially said Atlanta. He didn't even encompass the whole South initially when he made that statement.
That's a good point. Point.
Now, even when he made that statement, I seen somebody talking about the quote that Andre said with the South having something to say.
Right.
Even at that awards, the Source Awards that year, they didn't expect Outkast to take that award as the best new artist. That was what, 94? Was that Source Awards? 94, okay.
That was 95 Source Awards.
Was it 95? Okay.
They got booed when they accepted it.
It wasn't necessarily a boo. It was more like a kind of surprise.
You can hear the rumble. You can hear the rumble throughout the crowd. Like
it actually got quiet. I wouldn't say it was a boo because even when Salt-N-Pepa was reading it off, they kind of when they read it off, it was kind of like a surprise to them.
It was like
it definitely was a surprise for sure.
That's what prompted Dre to say the South got something to say. Even from there, the Atlanta wasn't the hard hitting epicenter of hip hop until
the West Coast was bigger than the South at that point.
Definitely.
Yeah, unfortunately, the dominance of the West Coast started with the Chronic.
Yeah,
because, of course, NWA and Ice Cube.
NWA kind of sparked it.
But when the Chronic did, it was like everything, especially with the record sales. Like Death Row was selling more records than the whole East Coast.
Yeah, Big even put it in his rap. I'm trying to sell records like Snoop.
So, like,
I was about to say Doggy Style. Yeah.
If you want to take from 91, when the Chronic came, was it 91 or 90? Whenever the Chronic came out, 92. Shout
92.
Clarification.
Was that Metronome again?
Yeah. So if you want to shout, you want to say from when the Chronic came out to unfortunately when Pac died, like that's
96.
That's
96.
But then, like, it was like then when it was getting ready to ramping up to No Way Out and Life After Death, it was like everything swung back to the East in a big, big way.
Yeah,
so
for a couple years.
What were you
Jay-Z.
saying? What were you going to say, Lone? I'm sorry. I know you had.
No, I mean, I agree with what Jay's saying. I feel like the East Coast had it for about 20 years, from like 73 to 92 to like 92-ish, and then it was the West Coast. And it was the West Coast for a while. East Coast came back, and then the South eventually did take over. But outside of Jay, like the South was bubbling at the same time. Like the South and the East Coast were kind of like, you know, with No Limit and
Cash Money.
you know, like the 99, 2000 type area, like
Well, yeah, 50
as big as
Cent.
Jay was, and it was, you know, Rockefeller was huge right then. Like the South was right neck and neck with them at that point in time.
Because
And then they just blew up.
yeah, because that was like the era when that's when I got into radio in '99. That's when basically the South took over really about that same time where Jay-Z had that run. It was him and Nas back and forth. The South, especially with record sales and radio play, Cash Money, like everything. We're not even talking about Atlanta yet. You know,
Right.
You know, that's just, you just talking about like that bling era, like when Wayne and was really popping.
Outkast was in the mix, you know, very much so, but like to the point where everything like because really Atlanta was the center for R&B records. People like that's where your TLCs, your Tony Braxton, the whole of Face Can. That was like the new Motown, you know. And of course, what Jermaine Dupri was doing, but he was, you know, an Usher, you know. But you're talking about R&B. As far as hip hop from Atlanta, we're talking about we're a few years away from that. Even when you get into the music and all the little trendy songs that came out.
Well, Lil Jon was big in that as well, right? When he brought Crunk.
When you're talking about Lil Jon, you're still talking about when Crunk Juice hit. That was what, like 2004, 2005?
In 2000, I will say this though, from visiting Atlanta in the like late '90s, Lil Jon was popping there then, but
he was like a DJ, right?
No, he had.
Well, I mean, he had songs and shit out.
Yeah,
even back then.
He wasn't like, you know, what really made took Lil Jon to the next level. Of course, when he started producing, like when he did joints for Usher and Sierra, but like when he did it, when they did the Chappelle show, and like, you know, you got a lot of what Lil Jon did.
That
like,
took him over the top.
Lil Jon had a run.
He had a run.
I'm talking about from a production standpoint, though. I can vividly remember there was a nice little chunk of time where everything sounded like that light synth, like very minimal type sound. Like he had that everywhere. Like it was everywhere.
Mike was doing something weird, Mike.
Let me see.
Well,
every week.
It almost sounded like he told the same beat 3 times. Like, yeah, goodies, and Freak a Leak.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all the same time.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying though with that. And then an extension of that was like Jazzy Faye. Like he borrowed some of that, and like they took off.
Jazzy Faye is from Memphis, I thought.
But I thought he claimed. Well, maybe he's always been associated with Atlanta. Like, I stand corrected. I just thought he was always associated with them. It's like Ludacris. Like he ain't from down there, but that's what he claimed.
Well, Premo's from Texas.
Down there.
Yeah, where you graduated from high school, that's where you're from.
But no, it was good. Like this was cool. I didn't see a lot of the comments. I figured we just talk about it. But I think I'm with Lone on everyone's pretty much echoed the same sentiments of there were pockets in there. Like that's a pretty broad statement from K-Slay to take it all the way through just on some originator shit. Like
you sound like a robot.
I still do.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with your phone. Like it gives you 5 good minutes.
I think it's your connection, man.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of the Live from the Bunker series. You know, sometimes we in the bunkers, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, last week you had to check in on your CB radio by the time the show was about to be over.
Man, it's real out here. Do I still sound like that? Should I come out and come back?
No, you're good now. You're good now. Do you guys think that the South has taken it since then, though? Since 2005, 4 or 5-ish? The West Coast kind of bubbled a little bit there.
I would say this. As far as if you're talking about popular rap culture, South got this shit hands down right now.
I agree.
Because you can't even decipher certain artists that are popular, whether they're from the South or not. Other than the West Coast artist has a certain sound. They have that. It's a different type of bounce. You know what I'm saying? And it's through the production. It's not necessarily through the artist's rap per se. But like the East Coast rappers, who would you say the hottest rapper on the East Coast now is? Ace Boogie with the hoodie? Is
Cardi
he the
B.
most popular? Who?
A Boogie with the hoodie.
No, he's pretty. It's so. But see, you know what the difference is now? Everybody works together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, remember how big a deal it was for Raekwon to be on an Outkast album? You know, like now it's nothing. Everybody, like, there's not this. You know, people in the South work with cats from the West Coast. People from the West Coast, you know,
that's true. I don't think it's even relevant really anymore, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's because people want to just sell these records, man. I mean, even when ASAP Mob with ASAP Rocky or whatnot was the squad that you thought was about to take the reins for the East Coast, their sound was Midwestern. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like a mixture of Bone Thugs and who else would you say they kind of fit the mold of rap wise? It didn't sound East Coast, other than like the slang and shit that they said.
It sound East Coast to us because when we think about East Coast, we think about Premier and RZA. These guys get influenced by so many. They're not.
ASAP Rocky said he grew up on Houston rap. Like he said, he grew up on stuff like that. Like
I can hear the Houston rap in that too.
They from Harlem, but they grew up listening to Pimp and all them. Like
that's why a lot of people, a lot of the heads in New York, like they would compare the ASAP crew with like Pro Era crew back then and Joey Badass and them, and they rocked with Joey more because he sounded more New York.
Right.
I think there are artists that sound, if you want to air quote, sound like New York, but they're not popular. They're not mainstream artists. Like you gotta
Skyzoo. Skyzoo is as New York as it comes.
It doesn't get more New York than that, but he's not a mainstream artist. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta find people like that.
Even like Dave East, he has his New York moments, but
he still got the current South influence though. He still got that. You know, so
A Boogie with the hoodie is probably the most popular as far as radio playing shit. I would probably think from the East Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. Well, Cardi's isn't that where Cardi's from too?
Yeah, Cardi is from there too. That's true.
Yeah. Cardi from New York, but she doesn't embody that. Like it's still leaning towards the popular trend in terms of the sound. So it's just different, man.
But you gotta understand, like she kind of like. I remember the first time I heard Bodak Yellow, like I thought this might be a little too New York to work. You know, and then like a week later we had to play it 3 times a night in the club.
Right.
Because of her harshness in her raps.
It was also because like I remember people asking me about her music, trying to get one to hear it in the club when Gangsta Bitch Music 1 and 2 were out. And I was, you know, and the thing is, like, if I'm talking about Friday and Saturday night, I still have, like, I can go with some wild shit from time to time, but I still have to think about what is a hit. And sometimes people just want to hear stuff to hear it. And, you know, but once Bodak Yellow hit, like, you know, it was just undeniable. And I thought for what I felt like it was a New York record. That was the first time I felt like a New York record just really went off like that.
There was no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that the South, you know, in terms of just the dominance from a sound standpoint, there's no doubt in my mind they've been killing it for hell as long as Waka said to now, and probably is going to continue. I don't know what the new swell is that's going to come now. Griselda kind of tilted the ecosystem a little bit. You know what I'm saying? In terms of kind of, but I don't know if they are, you know, as prominent enough for that to catch on. Like Lone and I always talk about that production style and how, you know, people are starting to get back into the heavy loops and the sampling like that. And, you know, Griselda popped that wave back off, so I give them peace for that.
Well, Rock Marciano did, but
I keep forgetting about Rock. You're right.
I mean,
you're right.
You know, an Alchemist, but
Alchemist.
The only thing about it is when you think of the South, you think of a cluster of states. So you think of Atlanta, you think of Texas, you think of Florida, you think of Alabama, Tennessee. All these places have artists that are out. You know what I'm saying? when you think of the East Coast, the only place you really think of is what, New York,
New York
Jersey,
City.
Maybe Philadelphia.
Maybe Philly. Yeah. And if you think about it, look at Meek. Think about Meek Mill, for example. Meek Mill still sounds like you can hear Philly in his music, but there's still elements of what we're talking about even in Meek's music. If you listen to the Champions album, it's still some of that in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. I'm trying to think who I could compare it to. Like, it's not. You remember our Freeway's albums used to sound like it's still. Freeway didn't have it. I don't think he ventured out that much in terms of, those elements. Yeah, it's a lingo. The lingo
I mean, we've talked about this in passing in the past, but I don't think it matters anymore. Like,
nah.
if any, it's all based on really production styles and lingo, and we don't really know where people are from anymore, unless they come out and say it. To me, the most interesting sound is really kind of the West Coast sound right now. But
I mean, think about it. When Ice Cube was popping, when he dropped 4 classic albums in a row.
Talk to him.
And y'all can debate me about that all day, but he had 4 classics in a row.
Talk to him.
His production squad was from the East Coast.
Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad was from the East Coast.
Yeah, for America's Most Wanted. It was Sir Jinx did a little work, but yeah, he came to New York to get that Bomb Squad sound.
Yep.
Premo's from Texas.
He made it sound West Coast still though.
Yeah.
What you say, Long?
Said Premo's from Texas.
He is.
And Guru's from Boston. So what's considered quintessential New York hip hop has one element from Boston, one element from South Texas.
Yeah.
Damn. Imagine if Premo had produced for UGK.
Oh my God. How does that work?
It changes everything. Everything's off. It's all fucked up now, right?
If Premo would have got would have joined up with an early Pimp and Bun, like music history would have changed.
What happened if DJ Screw went to New York and Preem stayed and went to Houston?
The whole shit would be like messed up. Like I can't even digest think about what that would sound like.
That's a whole different matrix.
Bruh.
It's a Rick and Morty episode, man.
Can you hear Pimp C on Above the Clouds?
And
I need somebody to do a mashup, man. DJs out there, do a mashup, Pimp C and Premo. See how that sound, man. I've never heard that put together.
You never know, because I remember 𝗏𝗏 did a joint with UGK called Country Cousins.
He did. Country Cousins, yeah. All right. On what was that, on Eardrum?
That song was fire too.
Pimp talked about how like he would come out to New York and he built with Lord Jamar and Brand Nubian. So like if you were just in the rap game at all at that point, you knew each other because everybody was only signed a few labels.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even Jay-Z recognized the South was creeping in when he did Big Pimpin' and put UGK on the track.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. He knew what he was doing.
What's that remix that he got on that he should have got on? It was like
who Jay?
Yeah, it was like Hot Boys or Lil Wayne or something, or Juvenile.
No, it was on Juvenile.
High remix.
The high
remix.
Yeah, I wasn't really feeling that too much.
When they re-released 400 Degrees, he was on the remix.
They put like 4 remixes of High on the re-release.
Mm-hmm. Just so y'all know, for the
you want to know what I'm gonna do next, huh?
Yeah, just for the record, so y'all know, Snoopy track was trash. I stand on that.
I never hated it. I never hated that.
Snoopy track was cool to me, man. Sorry.
That song was trash.
The quality, man. Quality, man. We redid that. We did the Mr. Anderson mixtape in 2006, and we actually took that beat.
Nah, I'd love to hear that, but I'm
not trash, man.
I'll send it to you.
I need to revisit it.
I might have to, and things change. Things can change. But I'm cool on Snoopy track.
We ride. All day.
That hook is up. That
all
hook is
night.
You might be able to say the hook was bad, but I thought the production on there was decent.
Wow,
It was cool.
Wow.
It was cool.
Was it about as cool as that beat that RZA played with the Chicago artist?
Man.
Oh man. Listen,
that shit was what did I call it in the chat? It was like some
house something. Well, it kind of sounded Chicago-ish though, a little bit.
It definitely had that house appeal. And then when he said the artist was from Chicago, I was like, there it is right there. But it was like some whack house shit though.
Yeah, like the
dude that was in the chat with us, he liked it. He was digging that joint.
He did. He did. Yep. I think the lights was on in the club when that one came on.
Ghostface said so.
I was cool. If Ghost said it, I'm with Ghost on that one.
As soon as Ghost said, "Hey, the light just came on," and Ghost is a clown, man. That's funny.
I respect him for keeping it in the buck, even with his homie in the building. You gotta let your people know, man. It was time to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So I respect Ghost for that. You gotta tell your brother when it's time.
Yeah,
so
man.
I'm not mad at that. Y'all got anything else y'all want to say before we get ready to get out of here? Did I miss anything?
Nah, man.
We hit the big ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Babyface and Teddy Riley about to battle this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, man. Everybody's trying to say
R&B cats out there.
Everybody's trying to say Teddy Riley's shook and this and that. Fam, he said with Charlemagne that Babyface was sick. That's the first thing he said. Babyface is sick.
Babyface had COVID.
That's what I'm saying. But that he didn't tell and say that's what he had. But when he talked to Charlemagne, he said Babyface is sick right now. And everybody's trying to act like Teddy Riley was ducking him. It's like, no, he said that. He said that from off top that he was sick.
It's funny how people come up with these scenarios that don't even know the people.
They don't even know him. Don't even know him. So,
yeah, that's interesting. But no, that should be a good little matchup. Hey, and shout out to Brookins and the JBBL.
Yes.
Yeah.
For blessing us with these battles the past couple weeks.
This
past
was dope.
week was Joey Frank and Soul Cinematic.
Yeah, that was dope. And then prior to that
I was just upset because the sound wasn't all the way there. But like the joints that Soul Cinematic was playing, you could hear that it was dope, but you just couldn't hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was upset. I was upset because I was scrunching my face up even on the bad sound. Like, I know this sounds way better if it's up loud enough. So salute to those brothers, man. That definitely was a good time. That was a good time for sure.
Is there one in the works for this week? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I haven't heard.
I haven't heard anything, but I definitely will be in the building if that's the case. I know Jay Moore.
For those that don't know, they want to check that out. These are actually straight up producer battles where producers are playing track for track, just original shit.
Yeah.
It'll be available if they do it on the 𝗏𝗏 AF Instagram channel, I believe.
Yes, that's where they go live from. Yep. So I think we can go ahead and wrap.
They need to use a different platform, man. I wish they'd use a different platform for these beat battles so we could actually hear the beats.
It's all about
like, let's just be real. Instagram is cool for the popularity aspect of it, but it's trash for this stuff.
I mean,
invest in iRigs if you can. I finally got me one on the way because they've been sold out for a minute.
But they don't work. The iRigs don't work when you double up like that. So you need
it delay the other person.
It'll delay it, and the sound still doesn't sound all that great. Like, they realistically need to run through like an external program. That's what they need to do. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we'll see. The ones with the bad audio do suck. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey,
but
the time now long would be to do a audio tutorial on how to make your shit sound good live.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Step number 1: leave Instagram.
But honestly, man, the Instagram has been sounding better than the Facebook.
Facebook's whack too.
Facebook is bad.
So it's the problem is everybody's doing this on their phones. That's the problem. You can't do it. You can't do it on a phone, man. Like, your phone is not, even though it's a multimedia device, like, it's not made for it. So you can't run an external broadcast out of it and get like great sound on it. But you can get decent sound depending on, where you're at and your phone you're using and your connection. But if somebody has a bad connection, it's going to sound like trash. So
I don't know what's the name. Ninth shit sounded real crispy.
yeah, I saw him. He was DJing in a kitchen for some lady.
That probably was a different one.
His always sound good. When he on his main location, his always sound good.
Yeah.
Always.
So he's probably running it through. He's probably using a program for it. He's probably running right out the mixer. So.
All right, man. Jay Moore got to get out of here and get to his post. So that's going to do it for this episode. Again, make sure everyone that you go to Bringing Down the Band's YouTube page, subscribe, hit the bells for notifications on everything that we drop. We appreciate you guys. We live from the bunkers, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Indeed. Jay-Z 9.
All right.